5 reasons you should learn how to read music. Now, if you would have told the teenage version of me that I would be making a video describing why you should learn to read music, there's no way I would believe you. I used to firmly hate reading music and I would never practice it. But since then I've become a bit more mature, a little bit more mature, and I think this is one of the best things you can do if you're serious about learning jazz or just becoming a better musician in general. So in today's lesson I'm going to be detailing 5 different reasons why you should learn how to read music. But before I begin, I'd just like to tell you about a free 62-bit jazz guitar ebook which you can download for nothing. It's a complete guide to jazz guitar if you're new. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Jazz Guitar, and that has the beginner chords, beginner jazz guitar licks, beginner jazz guitar pieces, recommended listening for jazz if you're new to the guitar. These are all included in my free ebook. There's even downloadable MP3 examples as well. So if you would like a copy of that, then please just visit the link below. I've put a link in the description. Put your email address in the sign up form and I'll send you a free copy of my 62-page beginner jazz guitar guide. Okay, so on with today's lesson. 5 reasons why you should learn to read music. What are they and why should you do them? Let's begin. So the first of the 5 reasons why you should learn to read music is that it's going to unlock much more material than what tab will. Okay, so many or much of the material for jazz is presented in standard notation. Some examples of things that you'll find in standard notation are lead sheets in a real book, the Charlie Parker Omnibook, and various different instructional material is written in standard notation. And if you're doing that, it's going to unlock things that may have not been accessible to you before. Like for example, the Omnibook, the Charlie Parker Omnibook, is a great resource for any jazz musician to have. That's on in standard notation, so you're going to get access to that. And other things as well. There's a great book on rhythm by Louis Bellson, which was written really for any instrument, but that's in rhythmic notation as well. So you're unlocking things that are not guitar specific. Okay, there's plenty of good guitar specific instructional material, but why limit yourself to just that when you can then read other great resources for other instruments as well? So that's the first reason, is that it unlocks more material than what you would have otherwise. Okay, the second reason why you should learn to read standard notation in music is because it's going to help you communicate with other musicians too. Okay, so say for example you're having a jam with a piano player or a bass player and there's a tune that they want to play, then it's very unlikely that they're going to give you that music in tab. Alright, you're not going to go to a jam session and you're not going to get tab for chords, you're not going to get tab for melodies. It's very unlikely that's ever going to happen. So if you want to be able to play music that another musician wants to play, then it's going to help you communicate as well. And also if they're talking about things like key signatures, a rhythmic feel that they want a piece to be played in, having an understanding of music is going to help you communicate with those musicians. It really is a language, and musicians use this language freely, so you don't want to be the guy that's not part of the conversation because you don't know the language. So that's the second reason, is that it helps you communicate with other musicians. Okay, third reason is that tab can be limiting and confusing. Now, I'm not anti-tab. As many of you will know, a lot of the resources that I provide come in tab as well. And tab certainly has its purpose. If you're playing in different tunings and things like that, it can be really useful. And even if you're just trying to find efficient fingerings for certain things, it can be good as well. But for example, if you look at a melody to a tune and it's in standard notation, then you can instantly kind of play that across the fretboard in different positions. Whereas if it's a melody to a tune, say it's Stella by Starlight, and it's in tab, that's going to only dictate one position that you've got it played in. Whereas if you understand the musical value of that, if you can see the key which it comes from, the rhythmic values and things like that, then you can more quickly transpose that across the instrument rather than play it in one specific location. Okay, so tab can be limiting. That is the third reason. Okay. The fourth one is that you'll understand theory better. If you can read music, you'll understand theory better. And when I say theory, I don't mean transposing a piece in treble clef to alto clef. You know, that's kind of some of the theory that I learned, and I think that's why I was probably anti-theory in my early days. It really didn't have that much use for me at the time. What I'm talking about is things like being able to transpose chord progressions. If you understand key signatures and movements and different chords, then you can transpose chord progressions much easier than what you can otherwise. You know, if you wanted to transpose the chords of autumn leaves from, say, G to B flat, if you already know that G has one sharp, it's F sharp, you move into the key of B flat, you already know how many flats are in that. That's going to make transposing those chords a whole lot easier than if you didn't know any music theory whatsoever. So it's going to help you become a better musician that way as well. Okay. So the next reason why I think it's good that you should learn to read music is really, do you want to become a musician or a guitarist when you're doing this? You know, guitar tab is great. Obviously I teach, you know, some people who are new to guitar entirely, and I think in the beginning I don't think it's that much of a problem just to read tab to get going, but in the long term of things, if you're playing guitar for several years and you want to be a musician, you want to be considered a musician, then you need to be able to read music for that as well. As I've already said, you can communicate with other musicians more, you can transpose chord sequences, you can play different things across the neck easier. These are all things that I would consider skills of a musician rather than skills of a guitarist. Okay, so that's another reason right there. So, and the last point really is just kind of about music notation in general. You know, it's this beautiful system that's been put together over thousands of years. It's this language that musicians use to communicate with each other all over the world. I know in jazz sometimes, you know, we just kind of play and we're not too heavily bogged down in dots, but you know, even going beyond jazz to things like classical music, you know, you can be put in an orchestra with maybe even musicians that you can't speak the same language as, but you can read the music which is on the paper, and it's this amazing system of recording music and transcribing music down that's been around for a very, very long time. So it's a beautiful system and a great language, and really, you know, I don't think I've ever met anyone that's regretted learning to read music, where I certainly have met people that have regret not learning it sooner. Okay, so those are the six, I think there's 6 reasons there. Yeah, 6 reasons why you should learn to read music. Just to go over them again, the first one was that it's going to unlock more material to you. The second is that it's going to help you communicate with other musicians. The third thing is that tab can be limiting and confusing. The fourth is that you'll understand theory better. The fifth is to become a musician and not a guitarist. And the sixth is that it's a beautiful language put together over thousands of years. So those are the 6 reasons. Now, I'm sure I'm probably going to get some comments asking me what I recommend, what books I recommend to get started with reading music. Honestly, I think most of them are good. The Berkeley Modern Method ones, you know, are pretty good as well. But they're all usually put together in a logical and a coherent way. And you know, Hal Leonard Method books, I think any of them are alright as long as it starts. You know, you've got to start very basically reading nursery rhymes and doing things with simple rhythms. As long as it goes through the system in a methodical and a structured way, then you're going to be okay. So that is the end of today's video lesson. What do you think about reading music? How important do you consider this skill to be? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. if you enjoyed this video, it would really help me out if you click the like button and if you subscribe to this channel and click the bell notification to get notifications when I have new video lessons. So yeah, thank you for checking out this video class, and I hope to see you in the next lesson. Cheers!